Kenrich, you guys have played with the kind of effort and tenacity that we saw the other night, every game this season just about. But did it feel like maybe some of those plays that everything was kind of coming together a little bit more? The bounces went your way, and that you guys, the effort kind of made that happen.
Yeah, for sure. I've been feeling that the last maybe 5 games, just from the whole team. As a team, we're starting to put it together offensively and on the defensive end. So it's good to see it come together in the big games like this.
Kenrich, we know you've been playing the 5 a lot just with Chet and Jay Will out. We know how much you enjoy scrapping defensively with those big guys, but on the offensive end of the floor, are you noticing how ways that you can take advantage on that end?
Yeah, for sure. Just being able to space the floor out a little bit more. Play off these guys, man. Shay, Dub, and everybody else, and pretty much space the floor, be versatile, and just play my game.
You've gotten a few really good looks from 3. I'm thinking back to last game, and then in Toronto, you were like 3 for 3 from behind the arc. Is that kind of a benefit of having a lot of 5s guard you?
Yeah, I think it is. I think that's part of it. Getting more open shots, and those guys are penetrating and finding me, and they're doing a good job of finding me.
What have you made of playing with Hardenstein, and how did he maybe change that Dallas matchup?
Yeah, I've been loving it, man. He brings energy, brings tenacity. He's a big body, something we haven't had before in my time being here, my 5 years. And you could tell like he made a difference in the Dallas game. He was able to match up with some of those bigs, so he's been good for us so far, man. I've been extremely grateful to have him on this team.
Because of the physical profile being different than anything you play with here, like you mentioned, I guess what's the adjustment period like with a guy like him having to get used to that physicality or whatever it comes with him?
As far as like other teams or us?
No, you guys.
Man, he's been one of the him and Caruso have been some of the easiest guys to kind of make that transition with as new teammates because they fit right in. They play the game the right way. They move the ball. They both defend, both rebound, both do the little things on the court. So it's been super easy to play with those guys. Super fun too.
What was your reaction when Caruso dives for that loose ball at the end of the third quarter, pops right to Joe?
Big play, man. Big play. And he's been making those his whole career. So it's not surprising, but extremely happy when he made that play happen for sure.
What sort of is that like, being a guy who has been traded, of stepping into a new team, sort of like getting the lay of the land? Like you mentioned how well those guys have adjusted.
It can go either way. It can go both ways, man. It can go bad or it can go good. It can be an easy transition or it can be a tough transition. And I think that if you look at those guys, the character that they fit right in with the culture that we have here with the Thunder. Yeah, man, it's been easy and it's been fun playing with those guys so far, man.
After that Orlando game, you guys don't play a national TV game, I think, all of January up until midway through February. I don't know if you have a strong stance on this, but I guess this Vegas thing, what is that like, having that kind of showcase in front of everybody that'll be watching to be able to see this team play?
I think it's good for us. Good exposure for us and our team. I think the whole NBA Cup is pretty unique. Get a chance to play it in front of the whole world, and TV game or not, man, it's about us. It's about the team, and it's about coming out each game and getting better.
What would you do with the money if you guys won?
Man, I don't even know, man. I was thinking about that, bro. I don't even know, man. Probably ties first for sure, but other than that, probably invest.
Invest in what?
Ain't no telling, bro. Invest in something. Real estate, something.
The other guys have talked a lot about Jay Will being the biggest hype man of the NBA Cup stuff. Has there been any new messages since you guys went on to Vegas?
Not yet, but I'm sure he'll have something for us, man, for sure. Jay Will's a character, but every speech he gives is good, though. It's good. It has good intentions for us, and I'm pretty sure he'll have something for us when we get there.
Is it just the money, or what is it about the Cup games that are different?
I think it's just it's the games overall, the hype in it. I don't necessarily see the money being the most important thing of it. I mean, it's a lot of money, but for me and as a team, myself, I think that we get to play on a national level. And as a team, I think that it's building the muscle for where we want to go and where we want to be at the end of the season. In big games like that, and it's building the muscle for where we want to be in June.
What was it like kind of having Chet at the game last night?
It was good, man. It was good. He gave us a pregame speech. It's always good to see his face, man. Lately, we haven't been able to see him a lot just because of the injury and stuff. So it's always kind of refreshing to see him, and we're super grateful to have him at the game.
What do you remember about the speech?
About Chet's?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just keep that in the house, bro. I keep it in the house.
Shay was just saying that, like, even when he's usually around, he tends to do those pregame. Is he like a motivational speech guy?
Not really motivational, but he I don't know, bro. He said some good stuff, man. Said some good stuff. I'm gonna just keep it to myself.
You mentioned being here 5 years. Do you ever look back sort of at your time of like when you first got here to now? Because like defensively and just the numbers you guys are putting up, it's like almost like predates the 3-point line with some of the numbers you guys have.
Yeah, I always look back and see kind of where we were, especially 5 years ago. Man, we weren't where we are today. It makes you, when you look back, it just makes you be grateful for where you are now and how far along we came and the guys that we have on the team, the talent level we have on the team as well. I always look back.
Any connection with Houston, just from the standpoint of bubble season, lost in 7 games to them, and of course they went through some tough times. You went through some tough times. You guys got back quicker though. Just seems like there's a little bit of connection between the two franchises in terms of the rebuild and everything else and how they went about it. They went more free agent. You guys went more draft.
Not really a connection, but they're a very good team, very well coached team, and you could tell that those guys over there are playing for something, and the coaches over there got them ready to go. So it's gonna be a good game for us, good test for us. See where we at.
Mark, this is going to be a Rockets team that you saw very recently. Great compete level from them most nights as well. What's your kind of excitement level, anticipation level of getting to face off against another hungry team here coming up?
Last time we played them, they played really well and really physical team. Obviously, a great defensive team. I thought they threw the first punch in that last game in Houston. We responded well in the game, and it came down to, obviously one possession. But it's a team that if you don't bring it against them, they really will dictate the tone of the game. And so we've got to be better from the jump than we were the last time we played them.
One of the things I noticed just with Hartenstein is like some of those passes over the top he's taken away. He's able to be physical at the point of attack there, but also retreat enough and be long enough to take some of those things away. Can you maybe explain how that dynamic shifts how offenses have to approach trying to get things in over the top?
It's just a general philosophy of ours. Like, we want to fight those entries, regardless of who the passer is and who the defender is. So sometimes, like I think you're referring to maybe I think the first play of the game,
yes,
actually,
yeah.
He's guarding a guy that's not going to shoot that. So he can back off that and kind of jam up what's behind him. And then there's other times where, we'll climb into the ball and really try to pressure the entry there. But the last thing you want to do is just like stand there and not have any sort of pressure on the entry. And so generally we try to do that. It's a little different for bigs, and it's dependent on the skill set of the guy you're guarding.
Mark, now that you've qualified to go to Vegas, I just wonder, how are you preparing the guys for something this deep? I mean, you could potentially play an 83rd game. It's in a city that's unfamiliar to what you're usually playing. Like, how are you preparing the guys for sort of all these variables?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is just giving them the information of what's going to be different. We don't want to go out there and have to learn that on the fly, and so there are some things that are different about the environment. Certainly, non-NBA city, some of the practice scheduling, the way the media is set up, are differences that we've made them aware of, so they're not caught off guard. But other than that, we're trying to kind of travel our deal, our operation into a different environment. And keep things as normal as possible.
I know you said you're not too much of a Vegas guy, but I guess from a business standpoint, like from a league, like if they try to add that as an NBA city, like what do you make of that? What do you think of it as an NBA city potentially?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough about it, to be honest with you. I really can't weigh in on that.
They gave you your last loss, and Blake had a big number on it. You look at that, it's just like, hey, he's hot that night, or is it something you learned from that game that maybe you try to correct your third time you face?
We try to, like any other game that we break down, we try to break it down possession by possession. And so there's some that, are tough shots. Like the bomb he hit at the end of the clock. I mean, it's like, that's a great shot, and you tip your hat. That's a really tough play. But there's others that you can control. When a guy gets 30-something points on you, then there's always plays that you wish you can control, especially when it's a guy like him that's kind of a primary part of the scouting report, him and Sengun and Green. And so it's a little bit of both, but we definitely could have done a better job on him. We could have done a better job in the game. There's a reason they beat us that night. I thought they outplayed us. I thought they were the aggressor in the game. We weren't bad, but we weren't as good as they were that night. And so that's going to be our challenge coming around and playing them again.
Kenrich had 3 threes the other night, and then he had 3 in Toronto, but it feels like he's shooting pretty efficiently just throughout the season so far. What is it about his game offensively that you're noticing from him?
Well, he didn't shoot it great early, and it's kind of normalized lately. He's been right around 40% three-point shooter for a good period of time now, and he takes a very predictable diet of shots. And right now he's playing a lot of 5 for us because of Jay Will and Chet being out. So we're obviously small in those lineups. They usually choose to put the 5 on him, and it's given him pretty good looks, including in that game. And I thought it gave Dallas some problems because of the way he was shooting it. They moved Gafford's matchup around. They moved their rotation around in the second half. So obviously it was very impactful. But he's playing right now with great confidence, as well as the other stuff he's always brought, which is great system awareness and skills on both ends of the floor. He's given us great minutes.
What makes Houston so good defensively?
I'm sorry?
What makes Houston so good defensively?
Well, I give Coach Udoka, has established a culture of toughness there that is very potent and very obvious. And I think he's done a great job. And then I think the athleticism of their team, they have electric athletes at multiple spots and size. Obviously Thompson is the one that pops there, but Eason is a very scrappy player. Jabari Smith has great positional size, as well as Brooks, Van Fleet. Those guys are tough, veteran, defensive-minded players. And so I think the cultural element of it, the personnel, and they play hungry. They're playing hungry basketball every single night. Like I said, in the first 15 minutes of our game in Houston, they were the hungrier team, and they really set a tone for that game. And we found ourselves playing from behind because they were the aggressor. And so they've done that to a lot of people this year. They're a really good team.
Do we talk more defense now? I mean, you guys get a lot of credit for it. Let's talk about Houston, Boston last year. Is it more of a conversation piece instead of just three-point shooting? It's not people concentrate on how you play defense.
I don't know.
From a coaching standpoint, I'm just talking about just general
Narrative, yeah. I mean, if you're focused on what's winning, you can go back in a long period of time. Like in baseball, pitching helps you, and in football, your goal line defense and third down defense helps you, and in basketball, getting stops helps you. It's kind of a fact of competitive sports is you got to be good at both ends to be really, really good. And Boston bombs a lot of threes, but part of the reason why they were as good as they were last year is because they're an elite defense. And so if you want to be a good team, you got to be really good on both ends. You can't neglect one end of the floor when the game is, literally a 50-50 split. And, if more people are paying attention to that, then I would say that's probably appropriate.
The end of the third quarter, Caruso about puts a dent in the floor, diving for the loose ball. As you're standing there on the sideline, what's your reaction to that sequence?
I thought we made a lot of those plays the other night where it was just we had the possession in the first half where we got 2 offensive rebounds and gave ourselves a third shot at it. Shea made a pull up on the baseline on that possession. Kaysen, a couple of his. I mean, Shea missed the 3. Kaysen got the rebound, kicked it right back out to him. Dort kept balls alive. Hartenstein had the dunk off the offensive rebound, and then that play. I mean, I thought that was a huge part of the game the other night because our shooting for our shot quality actually wasn't that great in the game, even though we shot 40%. A lot of it was high-quality shots, and we weren't, hot from 3, I would say. But we gave ourselves a lot of extra possessions between the turnovers and then the offensive rebounds.
Mark, you talked a lot about shooting variance. Do you think there's any truth to that, the same with turnovers and the way that you guys are able to force those?
In terms of there'll be variance game to game, I think it's opponent dependent. I think not every opponent's created equally. I mean, some teams are more apt to turn the ball over than others. And like I've said multiple times, I know the turnovers are loud numerically for our team, and it's a huge part of our profile and has been, but it's not our primary focus. We go into the game, our primary focus is disruption and discipline. We want to be competing at a high level, and we want to be doing it together and with execution and discipline, and we want to be disruptive to the opponent. And whatever that yields on a given night, we're good with, and if it yields inefficient shots or highly contested shots, that's a good thing because they're less likely to go in, and if it yields turnovers, it yields turnovers. But I think it's a slippery slope if you start emphasizing turnovers too much. You start gambling and you start losing focus on the things that are actually generating the turnovers in the first place.